right? So here's the stand video I promised. Two things. I love Harvest, right? Y'all have way too many Harvest stand combinations. The stand is hard and it's pretty versatile, but its use has become too saturated and its combinations aren't that unique, because it's really just one stand ability. We're gonna multiply it by like 1,000 times, which that's cool if you want to do that, but it's kind of dulling the creativity aspect of it, if that makes sense. Like this dude that's tracking the days in the comments that I haven't gone over Cream merged with Harvest. This combination's straight, but really it just boils down to a tiny army of erasers that just scrub things from existence. And they're still gonna be blind when they actually use Cream because they have to actually go into that dimension. So they're just going to be blindly deleting things. If aimless destruction is your goal, then that's heat, but it's okay, not too crazy. Number two, if I don't get to your stand combination, I might do a part two. Of course, it all depends on performance of the video, so go ahead and subscribe, you know what I'm saying? Like the video. And I try not to show repeats, so if you had a stand combination that I previously talked about, then I'm probably not gonna mention. And since we started with Harvest, let's do Harvest. I like this one here. So Hey Ya and Harvest. Just throwing out good vibes. Need good vibes. That's how we do it. Oh, crazy. Harvest and Cheap Trick. Let's immediately kill the vibes. It's like always one good person to 50 supervillain ratio anytime Harvest is brought up. It makes me laugh every single time. See, we got triple bangers right here. Vitamin C and Hermit Purple, which Hermit Purple would help Vitamin C get more range because it's more close quarters. Blue Hawaii and Limp Bizkit, which is actually diabolical. You're basically just creating a mind control to invisible zombie pipeline, which is super contagious because all the person affected by Blue Hawaii has to do is touch you or something that was attached to you at some point. And in the event that you die under Blue Hawaii's influence, Limp Bizkit has the ability to revive you and turn you into an invisible zombie. A power you can use on yourself if you need to. Remember, Sports Max initially wasn't dead. He brought himself back to life as a zombie. Fun and Justice kind of do the same thing in a way. They're able to control people by their wounds. It's just with fun, you have to be above somebody. And Justice can make illusions. And this is more of an enabler for fun, because once you run into the illusion, the enemy can't tell where you are or where they're going. You could really set up some sort of trap to get them injured. As an alternate combination, I would go with Metallica instead of Justice, because you have a way of making a wound on your target without ever being seen, because you can cloak yourself. Then all you really have to do is find a position higher than your opponent. Maloney's Babyface and Steely Dan's Lovers. This is a weird combination. Because Maloney's stand requires a lot of setup. You have to incubate Babyface with some woman, you gotta integrate it, and then it has to be born. You could use the Lovers to buy time for that to happen. Or maybe it's a case where you can use Maloney's computer to integrate the Lovers' DNA within it, and then you make a Babyface that not only can just delete matter, it can also synchronize pain or even cultivate flesh buds in people. I'm not sure. Babyface is a very weird ability. Rainy Day, Dream Away, and Civil War. All Rainy Day, Dream Away has to do is lock you in that guilty mindset, heavily boosting Civil War's ability to manifest your guilt, and it can physically attack you. So yes, this is crazy. The only thing is, if you, the user, feel guilty in any way, shape, or form after defeating a person with Civil War, you also run the risk of reviving them. Speed King and Sky High, and this is lethal because Speed King can place heat at a specific point in a person's body, and being paired with Sky High would make the rods precisely attack wherever you want it on a person's body. And Speed King's attacks have lasting effects. It can be transferred between people. You just tune the precision on Sky High with this one. King Crimson and D4C. And they say this is so your opponent has no idea what your stand actually does and therefore cannot counter it. And I get that because King Crimson is able to cover up your dimension hopping by cropping out the time it took for you to get between two surfaces. Picture a scenario where you're just standing there, time seems to skip forward a second, and the person you were looking at before the time skip has multiplied 5 times. That would be crazy. Purple Haze, Distortion, and November Rain. So Purple Haze fully matured with a more violent version of his disease mixed with rain that you can affect the weight of. In theory, that sounds great. You just have to make sure none of these rain droplets infused with this virus land anywhere near you or you're cooked. You're not immune to Purple Haze. And November Rain's range isn't very far. Emperor and Bad Company. Every soldier can control their bullets. That's cracked. You literally cannot dodge. It's too many bullets at one time. Silver Chariot Requiem and Death 13. Silver Chariot to put everyone to sleep, Death 13 to attack them in their sleep. The biggest red flag being you have to somehow get the arrow back from Silver Chariot Requiem before it starts swapping everybody's souls and eventually turning everybody into weird looking merged homunculi. Tusk Act 4 and Sex Pistols. This is a crack combination. I can see an infinite spinning Death Fingernail getting kicked and punted around, you know, if it doesn't just rip straight through Sex Pistols. But yes, that is crack. Bad Company and Red Hot Chili Peppers could be good if Bad Company travels through electricity, or Bad Company and D4C, so you can have not just a toy army, but a toy military. These are both busted, but I think the D4C combination is way more crack. D4C and Sticky Fingers, infinite available spaces to be trapped between. At any point in time, you can zip open reality and pop out with like 10 people. Soft and Wet and Weather Report. This combination is cracked for two reasons. You can make it rain bubbles that can plunder something from somebody or just blow them up. And Weather Report's range, because it can cover a disgusting amount of area. And the rainbows that emit a subliminal message that can turn you into a snail. Purple Haze and Silver Chariot is a cool combination. I could definitely see Silver Chariot being as fast as it is, fanning Purple Haze's disease at people. And he can also load his rapier with some capsules and fire the tip of his sword off. Octung Baby has not been brought up that much in any of these conversations, as it would allow any stand to attack from stealth. It would be way more effective with Wheel of Fortune though. Rods move too fast to be caught with the naked eye anyway. But Elegant Melon's been on a roll since this man said Kiss and Kraftwerks merged together. I can't doubt his genius anymore. And here goes another combination with Octung Baby that will make sheer heart attack a heat-seeking invisible bomb. Pearl Jam and Crazy Diamond. The only way I can see this working is if you get the ingredients to make the food, break it all down after cooking the ingredients, and then reforming it into whatever dish you're trying to make, and then use Pearl Jam to enhance its flavor. Maligro Man and Marilyn Manson. I'm not sure this is gonna work the way you want it to. One, you're just cursed with infinite money and it keeps trying to kill you. Marilyn Manson relies on somebody making a bet with you. So I'm going to assume you're using Maligro Man to entice somebody to put some crazy amount on the line and then you could collect their debt. Maybe some sort of positive scenario out of this would be you get them to make a bet that they can get rid of the money that you have, and then when they attempt to do it, it transfers Maligro Man onto them. Because to be honest, I don't see any real synergy here. Okay, so these next two are kind of biased because my favorite stand is Diver Down. That's kind of why the channel's named what it is. So Diver Down and Beach Boy. This is like the ultimate upgrade for Beach Boy, because realistically, you don't even have to pluck anybody's heart. You just have to catch somebody lacking with Beach Boy, and Diver Down is just in their body and is cooking them right there. This person had multiple, but this combination is absolutely bonkers. Diver Down and Crazy Diamond. They say if you think about it, Diver Down can phase into solid matter or living beings and freely manipulate their internal structure. And Crazy Diamond can restore, repair, or revert objects and living organisms to a previous state in their history. The more I think about it, you could be the ultimate healer slash doctor. All you really have to do is have Diver Down go inside of somebody, see what the issue is, and have Crazy Diamond revert it back to a normal state. They also brought up D4C Love Train and Osiris. You have a 100% win rate on any bet you make, so you're snatching everybody's soul. Frame 1. No misfortune can come your way. Their last combination is Stray Cat with either Purple Haze or Weather Report. So you're either lobbing out toxic bubbles or enhancing Stray Cat's abilities with the proper weather conditions. Because the more sunlight there is, the better and stronger the control it has over the air. And if the bubbles are visible and refract any of Heavy Weather's rainbows, everyone's gonna start turning into snails. Kraftwerk and Sea Moon. You'll be able to use Sea Moon to manipulate anything you froze using Kraftwerk without the hassle of repeatedly tapping it to ensure proper aim. Jailhouse Lock and Kira's third bomb bites the dust. They can only remember 3 things, but the moment they remember your name, it resets to when they didn't. This combination seems like a setup for anybody else that's not affected by Bites the Dust. Only because if the person can only remember 3 things and one of them is your name, they'll say it out loud. Who's to say somebody doesn't walk up on them and be like, yo, who's your name? And then they're cooked and the person resets. It'll eventually get to the point where they'll hit an amount of resets where they don't have anybody that knows them anymore because they're just gonna keep getting boomed, or anybody that tries to help them gets blown up and erased from the timeline, and then the day will reset. So it's like an infinite loop. This last segment is all about stand combinations that are 3 or more. Up first is Geb, Foo Fighters, and Aqua Necklace. As you know, Foo Fighters thrives off water, so why not give her 2 water-based stands on top of what she already has? I mean, at this point, why don't you just throw Weather Report on top of it too? Just have it rain all the time. Up next, we got Babyface, Mate Kudasai, and All Along the Watchtower. So the way that I could possibly interpret this is 53 sentient homunculi, all programmed from Malone's computer, that are able to fill in a specific role based off of somebody's desire. But it can only produce an altered version of whatever that person desires. There's a lot of layers to this one. Aerosmith, Manhattan Transfer, and Sky High. Or Bad Company, Rat, and Brainstorm. Okay, so with the first fusion, I can see Aerosmith lighting up Manhattan Transfer and that being able to ricochet the bullets towards somebody. Sky High would come in, but I feel like it would be interrupted if Aerosmith drops like a bomb or something, because that's generating a lot of heat. But Aerosmith has a heat radar, so it's able to track those targets, and you can send Sky High after them. So Aerosmith only slightly interrupts Sky High. Now for your second combination, it seems as though Bad Company gets an egregious buff due to this army being able to use chemically enhanced bullets that will melt you immediately. Tusk Act 4, Made in Heaven, and Wonder of You. I'm gonna be so for real with you, there is no reason for these 3 to even be combined. One of them is doing enough. This is what I got so much flack for when I said Heaven's Door and Wonder of You. The other 2 aren't even gonna activate. You gotta be trolling. Eventually everything's gonna speed up into a reset. Tusk Act 4 is really just gonna be there for show. What are you gonna do, shoot a mid-calamity? What's the point? Okay, I've gotten through the long list of stand combinations for now. Thank you for participating. I may pivot around. You may see me do JoJo stuff. You may see me do different anime stuff. I might need a cooldown on the JoJos. This is a lot. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to my yap session. And if I pop out with one of these again, throw your hat in the ring. Might show up on screen.